Hello, my name is Jacqueline Rozier. I live in Coolidge, Arizona, and I am here to talk about my family and postpartum depression. Something I've never talked about before, especially out loud or to a crowd of people publicly. However, I thought it was very important for me to come and talk about this and share my family's experience. It's kind of been generational. My mother, my sister, nieces, other family members, myself. And I know that that's what it was. At the time, we didn't call it that. We didn't know what to call it. It just was like this strange, quiet energy that just kind of hovered over people. And I recall my mother, as I grew up as a teenager and in my 20s and 30s, and I'm almost 70 now, watched my mother experience this postpartum problem, depression. And I will say all her life. She had given birth to children as a teenager. And by the time she was 21, she had 4 children. She was married, and she was an amazing woman. She was very smart. She was intelligent. She went to college. She even counseled people. She had a degree in psychology and counseling. She was a mentor. She was an amazing woman, full of life. But whenever she wasn't on the public stage or whenever she wasn't around a crowd of people, there was this strange darkness, this strange quietness that kind of covered her face that you can see in her eyes. And I know that it is a part of the postpartum depression that she struggled with. And it's really strange because there are a lot of postpartum depressions that most people don't even recognize. You don't even recognize it yourself. And people most of the time would not even recognize that they're walking in depression. I thought about it because I'm thinking I probably went through the same thing, this strange sadness, this strange loneliness, this strange fear that you experience that covers you, that's in your mind. And you kind of just push through life like we do many things. We just move on, we just go on. We don't deal with it. At that time, there were no counselors, no anybody you could talk to. So I wanted to share this because I know that there are women and men and whole families that are experiencing this postpartum depression. It's kind of something that almost gets on everybody that's around. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to comfort because it's a internal thing. It's not only just chemical. And it's in the brain, it's in the heart. It's not necessarily a feeling as in you're feeling something and touching something like hot and cold, but it's a deep down feeling that you can't shake. It's this strange emotion that seems to just lock onto your soul, onto your heart, to your spirit, and you don't know what to do, and you find yourself crying for nothing. You don't know what to do. You go to pick up this beautiful baby, and you just stare at it. You're not quite sure what to do with this brand new baby being in this position as a mother. And I know that one of the things that I would do, I would always just talk to my mom. I talked to my sister who went through the same thing. We would have conversations. We would work our way through getting through those dark days, those foreboding days of despair, not knowing even what we were going through. We didn't know if there was a pill you needed to take. We didn't know there was therapy that was offered to us at the time, like I said earlier. And so how did we deal with it 30, 40, 50 years ago? We just sat around quietly hoping that the person would feel better, hoping to make them laugh, tell a joke, hang out with them. We kept our eye on them to make sure that they were not going to go into a place that was going to be harmful. And so I just want to talk to the women or talk to those who are quietly experiencing this. And you don't know what to say because it feels like you just don't know what to do with it. You don't know what to do with your emotions. You don't know what to do with your feelings. You don't even know how to explain it to people. You just don't feel right. You're just going through a whole lot of gamut of emotions. You're sad, you're angry, you're fearful, you have questions, and you're just troubled. First of all, I suggest that you truly talk to someone. Tell them how you feel. Let them know how you feel. It doesn't matter how it sounds, okay? Somebody's going to understand. So we need to let people know We need to speak out. We need to say something. And for those who are around people who suddenly go into this quietness, this aloneness, they don't want to go out, they don't want to do anything. I just want to be left alone. I'm not sure how I feel. Give them a little space, but continue to love on them, care for them. Sometimes you might have to write little notes of, I love you, I'm thinking of you. Send them a little card in the mail, send them a little note. Give them something special to make them feel that they're noticed and that you're paying attention and that you can tell that they're experiencing something. As far as being in my community, I did quite a few things when I was on the East Coast. I've now been on the West Coast for about 25 years. But when I was on the East Coast, I would start women's programs, gather women together, talk about parenting, talk to young women who are becoming parents and let them express their emotions and express how they were feeling and their frustration, especially single women. And so I started a program called Woman the Nurturing Spirit and helped them realize that they were these special souls and that they had been given these special souls in their lives and how to walk through life knowing themselves and loving themselves. Also, what I used to do was have them, one of the things we talk about all the time is journaling and writing things down. Sometimes all you have is a word. You might not want to write a whole sentence. You might not want to write a whole page. Sometimes every day you might just have to sit and think of a word that you're feeling. How do I feel right now? And sometimes you might have to Google it and see, emotion, words that make you express emotions, and pick a word to express how you feel. Be with that, and share it. And as a woman of faith, I like to talk to God about the things that I go through. And I know that God is listening. I believe in a higher power, a creator, and I know that God is there listening to me and that I can gain direction and instruction and support as I experience those moments where I'm not feeling quite right, where I'm feeling not so good as a young parent, as a young mother, what to do. And they say there's no real books that you can buy to really teach you or show you how to be a mother. So what did I do? I went to God. I really did. I would lay these babies down at night in the bed, in the cribs, and I would say, okay, God, you sent these little babies to me. You sent this soul to me. What do I need to do with this baby? How do I care for this baby? And I'm telling you, when I tell you what I tell you, God will speak to your heart, speak to your soul, give you instructions, give you directions, or he'll lead you to someone who can support you and show you and talk to you about. It takes a whole village, yes, to raise a child. It takes a whole village to help you be a mother too. And so I'm saying that you may need to just reach out, call on God, call on somebody, call on a family, just share how you feel. It's very important not to bottle yourself up, not to be quiet, not to think that your voice will not be heard and that you don't matter. So I appreciate being able to share this information with whoever is listening. I'm not sure if what I'm saying is making a difference. I know it made a difference for me. I know that it is important for us to start to talk about this out loud, for us to take notice and to pay attention to our young women, our young mothers. They seem to be younger and younger all the time. I was just talking to my daughter-in-law, and I said, all these grandmothers that are in their 30s, oh my gosh, and they're getting through their own postpartum depression probably here and there, now and again sometimes. And so it's very important for us to begin to, as women, to continue to get back to talking with each other, sharing with each other. So many women are working today, not back in the day when moms were home, mothers were around. And that's what they did. They talked to one another. They shared with one another. And so I hope and pray that you'll be able to gain something from this entire experience in the next 24 hours or whenever this video is shared with, and that you will reach out to people, that you will contact those who are professionals, who you can talk to a friend, talk to a relative, talk to someone about how you're feeling, so you don't feel alone, so you don't feel like this weight, this cloud is yours to carry by yourself. So there you have it. My name is Jacqueline Rosier. Should you want to contact me or ask me questions or even experience going through the love journey, that's fun. That'll help you with something like this as well. Contact me on Facebook at this time. I'm prepared to put up my website and introduce the love journey to you. At this time, you can contact me at Jacqueline E. Rosier. Jacqueline E., middle initial, Rosier, JACQUELINE, middle initial E, Last name Roz, as in zebra, IER. Talk to you later. Be blessed.
Hey everybody, it's me, the Queen Bee, Evangelist Angie B. And while we are on the topic of mental health disorders among parents, I wanted to have a chat with a mother that may not fit in the box of pregnant women with major depressive episodes. I wanted to chat with a mother who it's okay if she'd like to remain anonymous, but I wanted to chat with a mother who was in her 40s when she had her first and last child. And we may think to ourselves, okay, if a woman, is of that age, she should have everything together to be able to combat and fight against mental health or major depressive episodes. But as we all know, depression can hit no matter what your economic standard is, no matter what your family situation can be. And who is here to help geriatric mothers. I hate to call them that, but who is there to help the grandparents that may be dealing with mental health challenges while they're raising their grandchildren? Who can help those that don't fall in the guidelines of being a pregnant woman? So I like to welcome my guest this evening. Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for making plans to join me today. And
I don't
can
have to be anonymous. This is
oh
Sonia Bennett, Sonia B.
oh
I
thank
have no problem with expressing the mental challenges of being a geriatric single mother. No
thank
problem.
you thank
Yeah.
you. I do appreciate that. I do. So can you tell everybody just a little bit about maybe how old you were when you got pregnant and what kind of situation you were in and how it led to the major depressive episodes that you are still experiencing today?
I got pregnant when I was 40 years old. It was a very interesting situation. I came to visit family members, my eldest sister and my niece, out of state, and decided since here in Michigan I wasn't doing anything, I wasn't working at the time, I was living with a roommate, so I didn't own any property, and my life was really on pause. And I decided that I was going to make a change, move to another state, live with my sister and my niece. And lo and behold, I came back home and was actually packing and getting ready to make this move. And I received a letter in the mail from a religious group, and it basically was asking for a donation. But in the letter, there was a kneeler that you were to get down and pray on. I I can't remember if it was Jesus's face or Mary's face, but it was something that you were supposed to pray on and send back to them with the donation, of course, and they were going to basically believe God with you for whatever you prayed for. So, of course, my prayer was, Lord, send me a sign. Please just send me something, a reason to live. A reason to live. Because at that point, I felt like I had absolutely no reason to live, whether I was in Michigan or Florida or whatever. But I needed a change. I needed something to give me a reason to wake up every day. And a couple of days later, as I was saying goodbye to my then boyfriend, I got pregnant. I didn't understand actually that I was pregnant because I didn't think that I could get pregnant. I was 40 years old, and I had a couple of years previously had the gastric bypass weight loss surgery, um, which pretty much, once your body is healthy, then you are open for all kinds of good things sometimes. And
Open to receiving blessings.
that's right. And that's exactly what happened. I was starting to pick up weight, and so I was working out more. I didn't understand why I was picking up weight. And finally, I went to the Red Cross to donate blood because that is something that I do. There are people out there who need blood, plasma, things of that nature. And they indicated that my iron was very low. And I told them I was a gastric bypass patient and that I have been anemic since then. And they said, "Oh, this is a little lower than even that." So after sitting there and drinking my orange juice, and they tested me again, it was even lower. And they suggested, "Is there any way you could be pregnant?" No, I'm 40 years old. But I left there, went to Planned Parenthood, and I had a pregnancy test. The first one was urine, and it came back positive immediately. I asked for a blood test, and it came back positive, and I was so upset. I literally showed out in that clinic, as they say, and to the point I had to send them a gift, an apology gift, because I was really upset. I couldn't believe that at my age, at 40, I was about to be a mother. And that's kind of how it went. When I spoke to the father about it, he didn't believe it because he was a tad bit older than me, and we really thought that we were safe. And but God works miracles, and my daughter was definitely a miracle. Though he abandoned us at that moment, 6 weeks in, uh, it's been a blessing and an up and down learning lesson for myself and my daughter. And I just thank God for that change that I prayed for and that He gave me.
Now that is wonderful. The entire testimony about how they encouraged you to get on your face and ask God for a sign, and because I can imagine there are a lot of people like that just kind of in a place where they're looking for something different, and it sounds like you were receptive. Once it sunk in, you were receptive, but earlier you said you were trying to find a reason to wake up every day. Do you think that could have been um, some of the precursor to depression, or just trying to find a purpose? Can you go more into that, please?
Well, definitely. My sister was dealing with depression, and my niece was affected in that living environment. And little did I know, I was going through some depressive uh, issues as well. My mother passed away at 29. When I was 29, she was 54, from a massive heart attack. And um, I just have been kind of bouncing around since then. I wasn't able to mentally pursue my career that I went to school for. It was so traumatizing to me that it really changed my life. From that point on, I just kind of abandoned my career and jumped from job to job. And at that point, by 40, I had really just decided I didn't know what direction my life was going in. And that can be depressing. It wasn't a matter of anyone giving me any guidance. I definitely was going through some depression, and actually being around my sister, I thought that we could support each other. and that was the reason I was considering moving down to be a little closer to her. But um, definitely, it was some depression that had nothing to do with being a mother. And then during my pregnancy, um, it exacerbated a lot because I had an OBGYN who was constantly reminding me of my age and the
Oh, I
fact.
know that probably didn't help.
No, definitely not. Well, you're 40, so you can't expect that this is gonna be a viable pregnancy, and you've had a couple of miscarriages before, so you should be ready for it this time. And
Oh
the
no.
last time he said that to me, I told him it is your job to make sure that this is a viable pregnancy. I'm going to do my part. God's going to do his part. You better do your part. So it was as if a light switch went off for him. And he started giving me extra hormones that I had to take vaginally. And, he started pretending like he was a doctor then instead of just a naysayer. So that helped, which I desperately needed because my hormones were everywhere. So if I wasn't depressed before the pregnancy, I
Right.
definitely,
Right.
my depression
Right.
after her
Right.
father, dismissed
Right.
us, and then I've got
Mhm.
a doctor naysaying us, and so it was rough.
I tell you what, I've heard people say that going through change of life and hormones can make you depressed, and a major move or a major family change can make you depressed. And it sounds like you were going through all of that. There was the possible. It just sounds like that there was so much. So, did the doctor? I know you said he gave you hormones, but did he prescribe any psychiatric help for you? Any counseling or anything?
No, not at all. Not at all. He didn't. As I said, he wasn't very supportive to begin with, and um, when when it was finally decided that I was going to have this baby, then he didn't. No, he didn't prescribe anything, and I don't know if it was a cultural thing because dare I say, he was of Middle Eastern descent, where women are not respected as much,
Mm,
um, which
wow.
is very interesting to me when I think about why was he in this field to begin with. But
Wow.
um, yeah, so I just as I think back, he never suggested anything other than full bed rest, just stay at home and, we'll check you every couple of days and make sure that everything is okay. But he never even suggested as much as eating a banana. And at the time, I didn't have a strong maternal uh, figure, I will say. I had a maternal figure. I had a stepmother, but we weren't very close. But I wasn't close to anyone. I was in my own dark world, and I wasn't trying to seek help from anyone, and no one was trying to give me any help. So it was a very very lonely time, even as I was growing this new life. It was
That
a
little
lonely time.
miracle.
Yeah,
That little miracle.
definitely miracle.
Now,
Yeah.
for the benefit of our visually impaired audience members, I'm going to read some of this press release that came from psychiatry.org. It was a press release that came in April of 2022, And this particular paragraph states that maternal health, and particularly maternal mental health, is an issue that has taken a back seat for far too long in the United States. They go on to say that there needs to be an effort to help better understand where opportunities are to ensure that pregnant mothers have access to the psychiatric care that they need. And that will lead to improved mental health outcomes for moms and their babies. So you just basically described that statement that you had a professional doctor who was basically telling you to prepare for the worst and not even addressing your psychiatric needs, whether it be because of his background or where he came from, whatever. There just needed to be an effort to help you with your mental health while you were pregnant. And that is so sad.
It is. It
That's so
is, and it's in my later years, as I've returned. This is still my OBGYN. He still is my doctor of
now
obstetrics.
did he deliver your baby?
He did.
Or
He did.
oh wow.
Yeah. Yes, he did. Yeah.
I further appreciate this press release where it says there needs to be a way to develop a psychiatric care toolkit for clinicians, and then to form education and training recommendations for them. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when he recognized that here he is delivering what I'm assuming was a very healthy child after some of the things that he said to you about being older and previous losses. It seems to me that he should have set you up for psychiatric help based on the previous miscarriages that you had. I just don't understand
Yeah.
why that wasn't taken into consideration.
Well, of course, and I'm sure, Angie B, I don't have to tell you, but just in case some viewers don't realize, the difference between psychology and psychiatry is medicine. So, as much as psychology is kind of counseling, psychiatrists are the medical doctors that can prescribe medicine. So, I um, I do wonder why he didn't even prescribe a psychologist, even if he could not send me to a psychiatrist who probably would have tried to prescribe
Hmm.
some type of medication. But what could I
Hmm.
take? I was already, beyond the normal age as people think of having babies. It's so interesting to me when I see like Kenya Moore and Janet Jackson having babies at 50. And I when I first saw that these celebrities are having children, at a later age, at first I was thinking, oh, this is becoming a trend. But I'm sure that they had all types of professionals around them, mentally and physically, excuse me, who could support them in every way possible. And it
Absolutely.
really,
Absolutely.
and that should be the norm for every uh, couple that is bringing a new life into this world, no matter what the situation is. There should be some type of support.
I heard, and I'm probably going to mess it up. I heard somebody say you need a license to drive, but you don't need a license to start a family. Well, I get that. You need a license to drive because you went through a training, see a book training, road training, and not to say that everyone needs that, but the Lamaze classes do help you later with your breathing and with managing the pain, and there there needs to be some sort of training to say, hey, when I'm feeling blue, or when I don't know, I'm trying not to rhyme, but when I don't know what to do, I mean, there just
Right,
there needs to be
right.
something. And that's really the only reason why I'm here supporting Maternal Matters Favored, because they're providing support groups, they're providing counseling services, community assistance referrals. I appreciate what Tam McRoy, the founder, said. That everybody needs to know that they've got a tribe to be able to help them. You talk about not having a mother figure in your life during that time. How many other mothers are in that same situation? How many fathers are in that situation? Or even, I truly think about this all the time. There's so many aunts and grandparents that are now caring for school aged children when some of them may not have even finished their higher education, much less being able to sit down and help with algebra. It is horrible. It is horrible. And your testimony truly puts emphasis on that.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely respect the fact that in this time after COVID, there are so many virtual options. And I think it's spectacular that um, there will be some options for those who are pregnant and unable to get out and go to Lamaze or some type of way to be around other mothers, even if it is a virtual StreamYard chat of mothers who,
Right,
like me, had
right.
to remain on bed rest that last
Mm.
6 months. I was on bed rest
Six
except to,
months?
my last two trimesters, to ensure the safety of the baby. I had to go to the hospital I think it was two times a week. I had to go to the hospital and lay there strapped to a machine so that they could listen to ensure that her heartbeat was developing, and they would come in and give me some orange juice, wake her up, make sure that she was doing good in there. But other than that, I couldn't do anything for that last 6 months. That was depressing because, yes, I understood the medical ramifications of having to get off my feet and having to take it easy for this major change and major decision in my life. I have so much respect
Mm-mm.
for women who continued their careers, continued going to
Mm-mm.
work every day, continued being already mothers, and they're about to become another mother. However,
Mm-mm.
with no one to talk to except a doctor who would check me and basically be like, "Wow, it's working. Is this
Oh
gonna
my
actually
goodness.
happen?" Type thing.
Oh
Then
my goodness.
I do hope that.
How do you continue taking care of yourself? I know you said you had a roommate, but roommates aren't caregivers. Just like
Right,
relatives aren't caregivers. You
right, and
probably
he
had to go
definitely
to
was
work.
not.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he wasn't a caregiver. I was at home by myself.
Mm-mm.
So I just basically stayed in bed all day and um watched television and tried to drink as much water as I could and things like that. And boy, it was of course, 11 years later, I've got a little baby fog. I can't remember everything, but I do remember my sister constantly encouraged me to stay hydrated because that was so important, which was so frustrating as well because I was, constantly going to the bathroom. So, extra water meant extra runs to the bathroom. But I do wish it would have been spectacular to have just even a a partum buddy someone who was in the struggle with me, that had been through it at a later age. Um, and it is something, yeah, at the beginning of this, you were saying how some people think that when you are older, then you should just know everything to do. But becoming a mother doesn't come with a blueprint. I don't care how
Right,
many books you
right.
read from Dr. Spock, or
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I read the handbook about everything you need to know about becoming a parent. I read that, but when it comes to hands on, I didn't know what I was doing. And my friends who were 40 and 41 also had gone through that stage with their mothers, with some with the fathers, and several years previous. So it wasn't anything that they could really relate to me. They couldn't say why. In fact, most of them, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe you waited so late. And it wasn't my choice. It was definitely God's plan.
Well, when you talk about a buddy, that is something that we need to check with Maternal Matters Favored about. Maybe somehow through their life skills program, a buddy could be assigned, maybe. I know that they've got the virtual classes. They're going to start on June 5th, and it's a 5-week program. There's going to be one class a week, and each class lasts for about an hour. And they're going to go over decision making, self awareness, communication, goal setting, and financial literacy. So check the website that's up on the screen, mmfavored.org. That's mmfavored.org. The class is just $35, and that gives you access to the program. But this is the reason for the fundraiser. Our goal is to raise money so that somebody can attend the class for free. So if you know of anyone that could be of childbearing age, I encourage you to just donate $35, whether it be for them or for somebody else. Because can you imagine how this life skills program is going to change somebody's life? Could you imagine how that could have helped you? What you say 11 years ago?
Yeah. I can't
Wow.
imagine, because just looking at the topics of decision making, self-awareness would have been a big assistance for me, because I knew that I wanted to be a parent. I just I had no idea it was going to jump from a potential couple to a single parent in a heartbeat. Um, my communication was lacking in terms of reaching out to people for assistance. I signed up
Right.
for some of
Right.
the programs, WIC and things of that nature. I definitely did that. But mental assistance, it never occurred to me that anyone would be willing to do anything but tease me, basically. Because you say childbearing age and people think 20s, maybe 30, but definitely not 40. And just I know that there are other women out there, and it's important for people to understand that there are other things that need to be taught. Financial literacy, sure, I learned all types of things when I was a kid. I learned how to balance a checkbook. My father used to have us sit and write checks. He would leave the utility bills on his desk and his checkbook out, and we had to make out the check and the amount that was due, so that we could learn how these were the things that had to be paid every month.
Okay,
Um,
that's cool. That's cool.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was spectacular. My parents taught us about credit, not necessarily credit scores. That wasn't as much of a thing that we learned, but that you had to have good credit. Um, but things like that are necessary when you are planning a major life change, such as becoming a mother. I thank God that my sister and a couple of other people told me about Gerber Life Plan, and began that before my baby was even here. And I'm, still proud to have that life insurance policy. Just such a simple thing. And also a college fund that I started. It's things like that, that just because you're a geriatric mom doesn't mean that you know about it. You see those commercials, but they don't apply to you. You're 40.
Right.
You're not
Right.
thinking about it. So
Right. Right.
it definitely that would be something, maybe even that they could provide literature for the classes, because it
Mm.
is such a necessary thing, especially in this day and age, whether you are going to start that fund for them to go to college or to begin their own business, however you are supporting your child financially, then it's something to think about early on.
Now, as I was doing some research in preparation for my conversation with you today, I got some feedback from someone who said, in my 40s, I'm trying to put together a retirement plan, not a college fund. And
Mhm.
so the financial literacy part, definitely. I'm not even talking about the whole stigma of being a single parent, because I don't care if there is another income provider in the home. I do believe that parents with mental health challenges, are still a single parent. I don't care who else is around, what else is going on. That is all, it's all encompassing. And so financial literacy, I hope that is something that they can address, because you're right, somebody had to tell you about the Gerber life insurance fund. But here you are, 6 months without being able to work. You've still got to recover from that. You still have to be able to live after that 11-year-old is turned 18, 21, 25. And that can probably be um, extra difficult when you're dealing with mental health challenges. So my next question to you is, since you did not receive any counseling or any assistance for your mental health while you were pregnant, have you been able to incorporate any kind of counseling or any kind of care since your child has been born?
Definitely. My primary care physician has prescribed me with medication that has been more of a crutch than I needed it to be in. And I don't use crutch in a negative sense, just in terms of were times when I just didn't know how I was going to make ends meet, um, because of the type of expenses that I had absolutely no clue about, even when it comes to latchkey or daycare. Again, my friends or anyone that I could speak with about being a parent either had family that was taking care of their children, so they didn't have to utilize these very expensive services, but they
Oh, that
they
makes
so they
sense.
couldn't
Most
relate.
40-year-olds have 40-year-old friends. So
Exactly.
40-year-olds ain't into babysitting, or
Right.
even have teenage children that could babysit. That's a whole different. Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Right.
That would
Yeah.
fall under the decision making. Oh, goodness.
Right. Right.
Hmm. Mm.
definitely. And so, yes, my doctor has prescribed a very wonderful counselor, some medication. Um, I have recently delved into some hypnotherapy and just some different ways to cope in terms of um, there's such an age gap between my daughter and myself to the point that her friends or classmates at times have asked her if I am her grandmother because I am, much older than their mother.
Oh my goodness. My
Um,
goodness.
that can be
Mm.
depressing as well, but I,
Mm.
through counseling and um, some good medication, there are times that I just ignore that snickering or that underscore, and my daughter it just rolls off her back as well. So, yes, it counseling is necessary. I don't care if it is a professional counselor or an actual
Spiritual counselor.
psychiatrist, a
Yeah.
spiritual counselor.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't want to overlook people that may have some situational depression. You still need help. It doesn't I always say it doesn't matter how you broke your bone, it still needs to be fixed. So it doesn't matter how you became depressed or why you're depressed. There still needs to be some kind of treatment, and especially when you're raising a little one, especially. I believe so. I believe so. Well, listen, I know you've got to run. I appreciate you for spending this time with us. I have you in my prayers. And are there any other final words of encouragement that you may have for any parent that's dealing with some mental health issues? Any final thing you'd like to say?
Yes, I just want to say that prepartum, postpartum, whatever you consider baby age, that we are definitely seeing that mothers are having children later in age, whether it is their only child or a miracle child that will be raised a little bit by their siblings and things like that. I just encourage everyone to seek as much help as you can from whomever you respect. It doesn't have to be someone with a long beard and you're laying on their couch. It doesn't have to be that whole Freudian thing that some people equate with therapy. It can definitely be a respected mother, a respected grandmother, aunt, friend, just someone who can listen respectfully, not necessarily offer advice. Sometimes you just want to vent. And that is just a major thing, whether you are a mother, whether you're an aunt, whether you're a father, whether however you are trying to cope. I just hope that you have someone that is there to listen and to respect what you're talking about. There's a song that one of my favorite artists, her, sings, and in the song there's a line where she says, basically, you are telling me to calm down when I'm trying to relate. And I can relate to that line because you're telling me to just calm down my emotions, which that usually is within a relationship. Yeah, you just going overboard. Who's to say who is going overboard? My yelling at my physician that day, my obstetrician that day, to remind him that his oath says that he is to do everything possible to bring this child into the world was
Right.
not
Do no
was
harm,
not
right.
overreacting. Yes, it
And he was
was
harming your
reactive.
mental health. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I just want to also say about him that in the end, he has now met Sandra, and he has given so much praise to the fact that she is an intelligent, creative, outgoing young lady. And he remembers, that he wasn't very positive. He's apologized, and he said that it has changed the way that he relates to some people who have come in, partners, um, older mothers, things of that nature that he had a prejudice against. So
Oh, really?
I
Wow.
just
I
encourage
wonder if
everyone.
he could be instrumental in implementing that training, that training that was suggested
Yeah,
for
I don't
other.
know about that.
Wow, that's
I'm
something.
sure he hasn't done a whole 180, is it? Maybe he has. I don't think he's done a 180, 360, or any of that. But he definitely
Mm.
apologized, and he does see that this is a different time, and I encourage you that if you know a woman who is going through a pregnancy by herself, no matter what the situation is, whether she's chosen to or it was put upon her, like me, or if you know a mother who maybe you don't think she's struggling because she doesn't look like what she's going through, just call and ask her. Call and tell her Happy Mother's Day this weekend. Call and ask her if you have summer clothes for the child, and not just the babies. Everybody wants to do for babies. They grow
Oh
up.
yeah, those cute little outfits. But what about when
Right.
they start school? What about when they
Exactly.
start change of life? Yeah, yeah, I
Right.
got
Exactly. It's don't don't turn your back on a mother when it's not cute anymore, when the baby isn't squishy, and when she starts talking and walking and things of that nature. Just remember that you had someone that was praying for you and doing for you all through your childhood, and that single mother that may look like she has it all together is the main one bending down on a kneeler that came from a church that she has no association with, just praying for a change.
that is so powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you
My
so
pleasure.
much. It is my prayer that this conversation helps to educate someone, helps to inspire someone, and helps to let someone know that there is a light in the very dark place of perinatal, postpartum mood disorders. Disorders.
Oh, we lost you for a minute there, Angie B.
To learn more about the Life Skills Program, givebutter.com/commitment, #mmfavored.org is the way you can give, or just keep us in your prayers, as our goal is to raise $1,000, because a donation of just $35 will help someone, a parent, access the 5-week program. Thank you so much, dear. I have you in
My
my prayers.
pleasure.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. Have a good evening.
Thanks, you too.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Pastor Mary Hope cordially invites you to attend the Women's Conference, June 9th through 11th, 2023, in St. Augustine, Florida. Broken, bruised, scratched, scared, but still resilient. based on Genesis chapter 2, verse 22 through 24. I was made from bone. On Friday, June 9th at 2:30 p.m., the topic is Bumps and Bruises, presented by Pastor Regina Johnson. On Saturday, June 10th at 2:30 p.m., the topic is Scared and Broken, from Dr. Teresa Carlton. And on Sunday, June 11th, 2023 at 2:30 p.m., the topic is Resilience, from minister and therapist Kinsey Elaine. And on Saturday, June 10th, your MC is me, Evangelist Angie B. Your host is Pastor Mary Hope. The address is 1855 Prunier Road in St. Augustine, Florida. It's all about Jesus and Me Incorporated, the teaching ministry. Broken, bruised, scratched, scared, but still resilient. Promotional consideration provided by Angie B. Productions.
I love my daddy. He gives me hugs and kisses when he wakes me up. He helps me make mommy's tea in the morning. He always reads a book to me before bedtime.
I Love My Daddy is a heartwarming children's book about the special bond between a little girl and her father. It follows a day in the life of a little girl and her daddy. Produced for audiobook by Angie B. Productions.
Narrated by me, Ramona Young.
And narrated by me, the Queen B, Angie B.
Miracles, miracles, signs and wonders. Yo, they gon' follow me. I've been on my P's and Q's. I paid my dues, even when I had no following. These demons bothered me, had me all in my feelings, thinking I won't achieve my dreams, but they all lied to me. Now they all bow to me. Call out the name of Jesus and they run trembling. They know I mean business and it's my Father's cheap. Yes, I speak honestly. They want no part of me. They got no heart, they weak. I walk in my authority. Miracles, miracles, signs and wonders. Miracles, 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 miracles. You'll be free and be healed. Be still and know I'm God, yeah, He's real. Can you feel Him? Can you hear Him? He's speaking loud and clear, just come near. Draw close to God and He'll draw close to you. His word is true. Take my hand, cause I am living proof. He loves you through it all. He's here to comfort you. He knows the truth, and truth is He made you beautiful. Devil, you loose these people now, cause I am through with you. The blood of Jesus, I'm pleading, now you gon' follow suit. And you gon' leave here right now. Satan, the Lord rebuke you. Lift up your hands here right now. Receive the truth, His love abide in you too. You'll be free and be healed. Be still and know I'm God, yeah, He's real. Can you feel Him? Can you hear Him? He's speaking loud and clear, just come near. So be free and be healed. Be still and know I'm God, yeah, He's real. Can you feel Him? Can you hear Him? He's speaking loud and clear, just come near. Miracles, miracles, miracles. Yo, they gon' follow me.